Hello, everyone, and it's been a while. And it's me, John Paulo, as you've known me. And today we are going to talk about Python, of course. And today we're going to code the Boolean values and conditional execution. So, what are the conditional executions that we're talking about? Conditional executions are the if, if-else-if, and if-else function. And later we will tackle that how we are going to do that. And on the Boolean values, as we've known, is that it tests that is true or false. And later we are going to talk about while loop also. So how to use while loop. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Okay, so now for this experiment 5, there it is it is by parts. So part 1 is input function, part 2 is comparison operator and conditional execution, part 3 is if-else instruction, part 4 is if-elif-else statement, and part 5 is the while loop. So first, we're going to do the part 1, which is the input function. So in this scenario, in this part, rather, there's a given scenario, and I'm going to read it out. Using one of the comparison operators in Python, write a simple two-line program that takes the parameter n as input, which is an integer, and prints false if n is less than 100, and true if n is greater than or equal to 100. Don't create any if blocks, because we're going to talk about them very soon. Test your code using the data we provided for you. So they've given us a test data, which is first is 55, second is 99, third is 100, fourth is 101, fifth is -5, and sixth is +123. Okay, so first let me create my code. So it will be like this. First, n is a variable. We save it and then we run. So it asks for a number. So first data is 55. So we'll try that. Yes, it is 55. And it is false because it is less than 100. Then another one. Next number is 99. It is still false. Then we run again, try number 100, and states that it is true. Again, next one is 101. Again, greater than 100, so it is true. Next one is -5, and it is false. Again, we try. This is the last one. +1, 2, 3, and it shows true. So that is how we use the Boolean values and the input function. Okay, so the next part is comparison operator and conditional execution. So in here we are going to use input function and if function rather, and the comparison operators. Okay, so here's a scenario. Spathiphyllum, more commonly known as peace lily or white sail plant, is one of the most popular indoor houseplants that filters out harmful toxins from the air. Some of the toxins that it neutralizes include benzene, formaldehyde, and ammonia. Imagine that your computer program loved this plant. whenever it receives an input in the form of word spatifilum, it involuntarily shouts to the console the following string. Spatifilum is the best plant ever. So our task is to write a program that utilizes the concept of conditional execution. It takes a string as input and print the sentence, yes, spatifilum is the best plant ever, if the word is written is yeah is written in uppercase. And it prints no, I want a big spatifilum if it is in lowercase. And it prints spatifilum, not whatever the inputted word is. When not when when the inputted word is not spatifilum. So here we'll test the code with using the spatifilum in lowercase, another plant, and spatifilum in uppercase. So for this, we want now we're going to try if this code works or not. Okay. So first we're going to type spatifilum in lowercase. And see what it will. And as you can see from the right side, yeah, it does what it does. Then we run it again. This time we will use another plant, pelargonium. Wait a minute. Okay, so make sure that when you're using this, make sure that they're inside a parenthesis. So run and see if it works now. Pelargonium. Yeah, it works now. So make sure to not forget the parentheses when you're going to use this. Okay. Then we run again, and this time we will type spatifilum in uppercase. Oh, not oh yeah, here. Yes, is it incorrect? There we go. Said yes. Okay, now that's done. We're moving on part 3. And And in part 3, we're going to use the we are going to use if-else function. In if-else function, here's the scenario. Once upon a time there was a land of milk and honey, inhabited by happy and prosperous people. The people paid taxes, of course. Their happiness had limits. The most important tax, called the personal income tax, or PIT for short, had to be paid once a year and was evaluated using the following rule. If the citizen's income was not higher than $85,528, the tax was equal to 18% of the income minus $556.02. This was the so-called tax relief. If the income was higher than this amount, the tax was equal to $14,839.02 plus 32% of the surplus over $85,528. And our task, or my task, is to write the tax calculator. It should accept one floating point value, which is the income. Next, it should print the calculated tax rounded to full tellers. There's a function named round that we can use for the rounding off. Note, this happy counter never returns money to its citizens. If the calculated tax is less than 0, it only means no tax at all. And this should be taken into consideration when doing the calculations. And they've also given us test data to use, which is 10,000, 100,000, 1,000, and negative 100. So first, I have to put the code that they've already given, and from there on, we are going to make our own code for the calculator, for the tax calculator. So first is we are going to put, it's going to be a lot. Okay, so income is equals to float input, then now we are going to use if-else command here. So if income is less than or equal to 85,528, then the tax is equals to income multiplied by 18% minus 156.2, else tax is equals to 14,839.2 plus the surplus of 30.32% multiplied by the income minus 85,528. Oh, don't forget that if you put a comma here, it won't work, so be careful with that when using numbers in the code. Then once we're done with the income, it's about tax, because they said if tax is less than 0, then there is no tax. So if tax is less than or equals to 0, then tax is equals to 0.0, else pass. Then here's where we'll put the tax rounding off. Tax. Then we print. Okay, so now we're going to run the code. So if I put if I put 10,000, the tax should be 1,244.0. And yes, as shown the screen, it is $1,244 when the annual income is 10,000. Now we run again. This time we use 100,000 and it should be 19,470. And as you can see from the screen, it shows exactly like that. Then do it again, this time 1,000, and the tax should be 0.0 or no tax. And yes, it doesn't have a tax. And the last one is negative 100. And this again should give a result of no tax. And yes, it does. Now, for the part 4. In part 4, we are going to use if-elif-else statement. Oh, let me just remove this. So here is the scenario. As you surely know, due to some astronomical reasons, years may be leap or common. The former are 366 days long, while the latter are 365 days long. Since the introduction of the Gregorian calendar in 1582, the following rule is used to determine the kind of year. If the year number is indivisible by 4, it's a common year. Otherwise, if the year number is indivisible by 100, it is a leap year. Otherwise, if the year number is indivisible by 400, it is a common year. Otherwise, it's a leap year. Look at the code in the editor. It only reads the year number and needs to be completed with instructions. Okay. The code should output one of two possible messages, which are leap year or common year, depending on the value entered. It should be good to verify if the entered year falls into the Gregorian era and output a warning otherwise not within the Gregorian calendar. And they gave us a tip to use the not equals and the remainder operators. And okay, so our code is to make a code about this. So first year should be in because there's no floating value in a year. So enter a year. Okay. Now we are going to put our code using the if, elif, and else statement. Okay. And here we're going to make a condition if year. Okay, so year is equals to so here's the code. And here's our condition. If the year is greater than or equals to 1582, which is the Gregorian calendar started, we are going, that's where we start off the year. So if, then we put another if year is the remainder of the year by 4 and divided by 4 is equals to 0, and also if the year if the year's remainder divided by 400 is equals to 0, then it will print common year. Okay, then elif year is divided by 100 and its remainder is equals to 0 is not equals, rather. Print that this is a leap year. Or else print leap year. Then we put another else, because if they put something that is less than 1582, it should print calendar period. Okay, so now we're testing out to see if this works or not. So first enter a year, and for the first year that they've given us, the 2000. 2000 is a leap year. Again, 2015, and said that that is a common year. So it should output a common year. Yes, it did. Now we try 99. And they said that this is also a common year, so it should output a common year. Yes, it did. Next one is 1996. And its expected output is leap year. And yes, leap year. And last, we'll try something that is not within the Gregorian period. So 1580, so this is before Gregorian period, and it should output the not within the Gregorian calendar period, which it did. Now lastly, for the final part, the part 5. Part 5. We are now going to use the while loop. So what is while loop? So it utilizes the loop function, that it can go over and over without you retyping it again and again. So here's a scenario. A junior magician has picked a secret number. He has hidden it in a variable named secret number. He wants everyone who runs his program to play the guess the secret number game and guess what number he has picked for them. Those who don't guess the number will be stuck in an endless loop forever. Fortunately, he does not know how to complete the code. So my task is to help the magician complete the code in the editor in such a way that the code will ask the user to enter an integer number. Using the while loop, we'll check whether the number entered by the user is the same as the number picked by the magician. If the number chosen by the user is different than the magician's secret number, the user should see the message, "Haha, you're stuck in my loop," and be prompted to enter a number again. If the number entered by the user matches the number picked by the magician, the number should be printed to the screen, and the magician should say the following word: "Well done, Muggle. You are free now." The magician is counting on me, so I shouldn't disappoint him. So first, we'll type the secret number that he gave. Secret number is 77. And then we're going to make use of the print function using the triple quotes and make a multi-line. So wait a minute. I'll just copy it. Okay, here we go. Because it would take a lot of time to do this one. So here, first let's introduce another variable. We'll call it A. We'll call it A for being A. So A is equals to 0. Now we will use the while loop, and this condition is if A is less than 1, the loop will go on and go on. Then now we'll prompt input enter a number. So if Hans is equals to then he will gain a point, which will free him. Okay. Else print Now we're going to test out. Oh, wait a minute. Yes. Now we're going to test out if this works or not. So control, save, then run. So first we will not use the number, the secret number rather. So we have 50. Oh wait, should be exclamation point, not at. Okay, another one. So yes, let's try 50. There we go. He prompts us to enter a number again. Will 700 work? No. Let's try 77 if we're going to get if we're going to be free from this. Yes, it did. So that's the power of the while loop function. So the key takeaway from here is that we could use while loop, if else if statements to make our code more organized and for us to not work, to make the work less hassle. And I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you, and see you again next time. Bye.